Oh, I cannot even make this up. I just got back from what I think was a date, and on the ride back, he says, "I'm gonna play you my song." So I'm like, "Oh my God, you're a secret rapper." He plays me the song. He's rapping all the words, and then he gets to a part where it says, "I don't f bald bitches, Mr. Clean." I said, "Oh really?" He's like, "Yeah, my bad." I said, "No, but keep going." And he kept going.
Now, I play you this particular video up front because I'm going to lead into something that is quite interesting. And it came up because I came across a video from one of my favorite content creators, Mr. Alexander Grace. And that's the video I'm going to feature today. But he spoke about something called co-rumination. Okay. Now, I was aware of this phenomenon, but I never had a name for it. And so when I saw him come up with it, and because I live in a house of 3 women, my wife and 2 teenage daughters, I see a lot of this happening. And it's perplexing how my daughters actually act around my wife versus me. Like my elder daughter, you know, she's always complaining about something. She don't like the food, person that she spoke to today, always a pain somewhere. There's just a constant complaining. But I realize it's not really complaining, because when she does it with my wife, the automatic response is, let's talk about it. Oh my God, you know, sometimes I get the same pain. And of course she's like, Mommy, we're talking about me right now, right? But the point is, this constant swapping of pains, of problems, amongst women is a phenomenon, and they don't do it with me. And I'm always perplexed with it, because listen, man, I've always grown up with women. So I've had 5 sisters I grew up with. So I get it 100%. So my friends, this is what we're going to get into today. Co-rumination. I have a hard time actually pronouncing that. Co-rumination. Co-rumination. Yeah. You know those words, sometimes they get stuck, right? So you have rumination and co-rumination. I'm going to first define what rumination means. Let me ask my dear friend Sage, aka ChatGPT. Hey Sage, can you define rumination again, please?
Sure. Rumination is when you continuously think about the same distressing thoughts, often dwelling on problems without finding solutions. It can increase anxiety and depression.
Is this more common amongst women?
Yes, it tends to be more common among women, often because they might engage more in sharing emotions and seeking support through conversation.
I see. Now, what is co-rumination?
Co-rumination is when 2 or more people repeatedly discuss and rehash problems together, often without reaching solutions. It can strengthen bonds, but may also increase anxiety or stress.
And is this common amongst women rather than men?
Yes, it tends to be more common among women, often because they might engage more in sharing emotions and seeking support through conversation.
Oh, okay, thank you. So Alexander, he had a video on this, and I found it very interesting, to the point where, gentlemen, I think you need a lesson from this. So let's get into Alexander's video, shall we?
Oh my God. What? What? It keeps going?
What? You can't send a picture.
No.
Holy shit.
You know that sense of duty that you feel as a man to protect a woman's privacy and uphold her dignity? You know, keep intimate details about her to yourself, use discretion, don't share private information with your friends. Well, it turns out many women do not feel that same obligation to men. That private message that you sent just to her about your thoughts and your feelings, that's just become a source of entertainment for her and her friends. When women said to men, "We want you to open up and share more," men did not realize it was so that she would have more content and entertainment to share with her friends. And this is normal for lots of women. They show each other the text that men send and they have a big laugh. It's just assumed that everything that you send her, everything that you tell her, is going to be traded amongst her friends for social currency and amusement.
Alright, I'm not trying to expose all the girls, but I have to tell you something. I just have to. Listen, to the boys who don't know this, okay? When you're texting a girl, you're like in a talking stage, whatever's going on. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. And you're texting her, Guaranteed, I'm not even kidding right now, she is screenshotting that and sending it to her 7 best friends in a group chat. I'm not kidding. Guaranteed. Screenshot, send as soon as she sees it. All of them are helping her formulate a response. All of them are seeing what you're sending. I'm just letting you know, if you didn't know already, which you probably do, but if you didn't, when you're texting a girl, when you're dating a girl, you're dating 7 girls at the same time. You're dating her entire friend group, okay? They know more about you than you've ever wanted anyone ever to know, okay?
Men don't understand this behavior because fundamentally we are wired differently. Men think independently. We don't date by committee. When a man needs to decide if he likes somebody, he consults his own mind, his own values. When a woman navigates this process, she talks to her friends. Why? Isn't she capable of making up her own mind? Doesn't she know what she wants? Why does she need the approval of other women? Yes, part of it is security. Does this guy seem safe to you girls? That's legitimate. And another part of it is seeking advice. What should I do? How should I text back? But another huge factor is pre-selection, only dating men that other women find attractive.
All of those points are absolutely legitimate for women to do. The problem comes in when it's excessive and she no longer has her own mind to depend on. And she's influenced by this committee to a point where the committee goes against what she's feeling. Now, ladies, for those of you who are watching this type of behavior should only be reserved for when you're a teenager. Teenagers. And I simply say this because I see my teenage daughters talk about guys like this and show texts, etc., right? And they're trying to navigate life. They don't have the experience of understanding men, boys, I should say. They don't have it. So they're trying to get an understanding from other women who are going through similar experiences. But the problem I see is that a lot of these women are still carrying on this behavior into their later years. And this is where it becomes an issue. Because I can tell you, ladies, as you get older and the dating market becomes more competitive, there is nothing worse than having a sister who knows everything about the man that you're trying to get. Because you know what will happen? And it has happened in many cases. 1 or 2 of those sisters will start to see the attraction in that man. And she wants him for herself. And more than likely, your sisters will start to sabotage your ass. Oh, yeah, he's not worth it. No, you shouldn't even be doing that. No, I don't think you should do it. It was just yesterday, one of my subscribers sent me a voice message telling me a story about the woman who got pregnant by her boyfriend when she was younger. Yeah, her girlfriend, her best friend, who she was sharing all of her details with about her man, who was also advising her about how bad he is and he's not good for you, etc. She got pregnant for the freaking guy. Yeah, she had the child for this man. So all I'm telling you, ladies, is that you have to be very careful about how you co-ruminate with these women. The sisterhood don't have your best interests at heart. Most of them are just there for the excitement and the gossip. But more importantly, you have to be very cautious about if one of them or 2 of them want your man.
She sends a man to the committee because she needs to see whether or not her other friends approve. Men tend to be a lot more lone wolf in nature. They don't understand how communal the female mind is. So in this video, I want to challenge your thinking with an idea that you may never have considered before. What if, for many modern women, the entire purpose of dating is not actually to secure a man? What if instead her underlying purpose is to bond with her friends? That's her true motivation. Sound crazy? Well, I want to introduce you to the concept of co-rumination, because once you understand this, you're going to understand women a lot better. Co-rumination is a social bonding process that little girls experiment with, and women carry it through with them right through to adulthood. In this research, they defined co-rumination as extensively discussing and revisiting problems, speculating about problems, and focusing on negative feelings. In the study, they found 3 key findings. Number 1, girls do this a lot more than boys. Number 2, this helps girls create closer friendships. And number 3, which should not surprise anybody, it leads to a lot of internal anxiety and emotional difficulties. Understand that you as a man, you view unpleasant feelings and situations in a negative manner. something to be avoided or overcome. For women, negative feelings serve a very useful purpose. It helps them bond with other women. It's co-rumination. Vulnerability and pain are a currency that women trade with each other to gain trust and favor. When something bad happens to a woman in her relationship or in her dating life, it's only bad from the perspective of her romantic prospects, but it's also a bonding opportunity for her and her friend.
And that's the reason why I played you that video in the first instance. You will see tons and tons of dating chronicles, but nowhere in those dating chronicles are women talking about the great dates that ultimately lead to them having a good relationship and a fruitful relationship now. Because it's just one bad relationship. It starts out good. You know what? Let me just play you another one right here. Let me just give you a good example.
I don't know if this is just me, but I rarely ever see attractive men out anywhere. Not that I even go out that much at night, but when I do, I never see any. Or even just day to day, out and about, I never see anyone attractive.
Oh my God, help me, because I don't see any good men. Of course, in the comment section, you're going to get, oh my God, girl, you are so right. You are so right. I never see any good men. I never see any good looking men anymore. As she fixes her makeup and her wig and her nails and her all that, and her fake up that she has on, everything has to be fixed, and she never sees any beautiful men anymore. Rumination and co-rumination is when she's doing it with other women. So all of these videos that you see online are women literally falling into this idea that I need to share my life and I need to keep ruminating about this issue. And it brings them such deep stimulation that it's almost addictive. They relish in this so-called pain, this collective pain, this cohabitating in their same pain. Co-rumination.
When I tell women to move through the world with the audacity of a man, this is what I mean. A week ago, I went on one date with one man. The date was fine. The food was good. The conversation was fine. I recently have had a change in my work schedule that I've been adjusting to, so I don't really have a lot of time to mingle and talk to people all day and do things of that nature. I initially agreed to meet him one day this week on a Wednesday after I got off work at around 6 p.m. I ended up doing overtime that day, and I let him know, hey, I did say explicitly I'll be working overtime, so I'll need to postpone this date. And he said, okay, do you need to reschedule? And I did not answer that text message asking to reschedule soon enough, I guess. So he ended up texting me again. He double texted me and he said, I'm good, good luck. The agitation in his follow-up message was screaming. I could feel his anger and frustration and entitlement to my time.
You know what any intelligent person would have done? Hey, so sorry, can we reschedule our date? I'm so sorry, I got to work extra hours today. One of my colleagues had a problem, etc., etc. I really wanted to do this, but I'd be more than happy to reschedule. Let me know what's convenient for you. That is an adult message to send to someone that you are going to cancel a date with. That's a level of respect you should share with the opposite sex. If I had to text a woman, that's how I would text her to cancel a date. That's how I think any intelligent person would do that. But no, she needs the drama. I can't make it for the date today. I got to work overtime. Finish. What do you think the man is going to feel? Do you want to reschedule? She don't respond. More than likely, it was probably done instantly. But she relishes in the fact that now she has some drama to come and post on TikTok, if the story is true. This is what women freaking strive on. Co-rumination. One more.
Every time I went on a date with a very famous actor, and it ended up being horrible. So we went out to eat at this really nice place in Miami, one of my faves. Everyone knows him. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. There's going to be no type of discretion. It was like the entire time people were in our face, looking, turning, watching. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Anyway, we sit down.
So you choose to go out with a famous person, but it's a horrible date because people were paying him attention. So now you got to get on TikTok and tell people how horrible it was. And all of this basically is just fake horror. I think Alexander stresses this phenomenon a little bit more here. Let's continue with his video because I think he calls it fake outrage. All of these women are in what we call fake outrage. Every single one of these videos about story time and dating chronicles. Just put in dating chronicles on TikTok and you'll see this crap.
Silver lining. And this is why women often lean into drama. They lean into the pain and suffering because it helps ingratiate them with other women.
Dude, what do you need?
This is not an expression of genuine emotion. There is nothing authentic here. This is a performance done for her.
She was stalking and accidentally liked someone's posts. This is the drama that she's creating around this.
Friends. This is what so many women do. They exaggerate the suffering and the drama and the pain that's been caused to them by men because it ingratiates them with their friends. Women are even hosting events where they collectively bond with each other over how mean men are.
Meanest things boys have said to us.
We need to work on making you less sensitive.
Man, you have to be aware of the way that the female mind works, because otherwise you're not going to know what's motivating her. Is she interacting with you because she likes you? Or does she just want a funny story to share with her friends? You're texting back and forth because you think that she likes you, that she finds you attractive. But actually, she's only texting back because she's with all of her friends, laughing, enjoying themselves at your expense.
On my way. On my way. Thanks for the heads up.
So funny because, you know, he thought that she liked him, thought they had a date, so he got ready and was coming to see him. That's funny. Because she's not interested. This shit is so fucking dehumanizing. Men being reduced to props for the entertainment and amusement of women. If the genders were reversed, no way this would fly. Men couldn't pass this off as like funny, cute content for TikTok, but for some reason, because the victim here is a man, no one cares. And even if you find a good woman who is feminine, who's kind, who likes you, you may discover that whether or not the two of you end up dating is entirely conditional upon her friend's approval.
Yeah, the few videos I see where women are sharing how they got stood up by men and how upset they are, the comment section just goes butt wild. Girl, you're better than that. Oh, girl, you deserve better than that. Oh, you missed a bullet. Oh, you this, you that. It's insane. Listen, my friends, it's not like it's any different from the old days. It's just in the old days, the girls back then, they would call their friends on the phone. Oh my God, he just asked me to go out with him. What should I say? What should I say? One girl, but that girl would then call her other friend and tell her what's going on, and all of a sudden it's 2 and then 4 and etc. And before you know it, even the next day at school, everybody knew that both of you are dating or you have something going on. But it should stop at that point, at a teenage level. This is not behavior that should continue after being a teenager. No, ladies, you're too old for that shit, man. So as usual, I mean, I'm not just going to criticize a problem and not try to come up with a solution. And so now I'm going to share Dr. Jordan Peterson's cure to help you with rumination. All right? So here it is, ladies. It's a very simple process. And gentlemen, you could share this video with any of these women who are going through this type of behavior because it's really debilitating for a lot of women. It causes a massive amount of anxiety and stress.
Stop ruminating. These thoughts are recurring and relate to every and any embarrassing moment I have ever had during my lifetime. Well, here's something you could try. Write down everything that you're ruminating about. I know that seems counterproductive, but ruminations come up accidentally, involuntarily, unconsciously. Whereas if you write down everything that you're ruminating about, you're facing them voluntarily. So I would say, well, open up a journal or a Word document, whatever, and write down every time you ruminate about something, write it down and Write down every rumination you can remember exhaustively. Write them all down. That would be the first thing. And the second thing is standard behavioral therapy practice. The next thing would be write down why you think they happened so that you get a good causal account. And then write down, well, what you might have done about them then, but more importantly, what you could do about them in the future to avoid that. Because it doesn't matter that something embarrassing happened to you once. What matters is whether or not you're likely to repeat it in the future. But my suspicions are that even if you could just start simply, write down every ruminating thought that you have voluntarily and think about them in detail and write them down in detail. Get every little word down. And then you have that document. And then when you have a thought and start to ruminate on it, then sit down later after the ruminating thought goes away and bring it to mind voluntarily. So every time you have a thought you don't want to have, later practice having that thought on purpose. And try that for about a month and see what happens. Because it's often the case that if you start thinking about the thoughts you're ruminating on consciously and confront them voluntarily, that they will start to go away. So you could try that. That should help.
Brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. I don't see any other way that you could fix it. To be honest, I don't see any other way to get rid of all of these thoughts that are invading most women's minds at all times. I would strongly suggest having one girlfriend to co-ruminate with. Make sure she's a level-headed person with some degree of logic that you could run something across, or hopefully a male family member would be 10 times better, just so that you can get the thoughts out of your head and discuss it, okay? I think technology is really good right now, sitting and having a chat with ChatGPT. Just ask them the hard questions. Ask it to get inside your head and discuss the problem with it. Like today when I was on my walk, I had a thought about an existential problem about the universe, right? And I wanted to talk to someone about it, but I had no one there to actually have this discussion with that would be remotely interested in talking about that subject at 6 a.m. in the morning, right? When the sun is barely coming over the horizon. I had a chat with ChatGPT in my headphones. I just said, listen, debate with me from a scholarly perspective because I want to have a deep discussion with you. And I said, keep pressing me and challenging my opinions. And it did. And it was amazing. At the end of my walk, I just felt like, wow, that felt good, man. It felt like I actually got something out of my head and I had a deeper understanding of what was in my head. So I would strongly recommend having a chat with AI because it has a hell of a lot of knowledge. Yes, I know you guys are going to come at me. Oh, AI is not the same, blah, blah, blah. It was convenient at the time. To me, it's no different than having a set of encyclopedias or online, for those of you that don't know what an encyclopedia is. And I can go online and find the answer and then keep doing that back and forth. ChatGPT is no different. But I digress, my friends. I'm just trying to give you all solutions. But I want to stick to the one simple subject. Understanding co-rumination, which occurs with women a lot. And when she's doing it on her own, it's called rumination. How she can deal with rumination on her own and how she can deal and manage co-rumination so that she don't get in trouble in her relationships. Because most women will sabotage their relationships if they co-ruminate with the sisterhood. Okay? So my friends, like this video on your way out. Please subscribe, pick up my Content Creators Toolkit, and of course, book a session if you need any help with me. Okay? So until next time, my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be talking about obesity. Yeah. It's going to be a good one. See you soon. Cheers.